We're just hours away from a Senate vote on Brett Kavanaugh, and in a late-night twist, a wedding could affect the timing.
Yeah, tomorrow's vote is not final.
But the final vote this weekend may have to be delayed a little bit. CBS 2 political reporter Dave Bryan is here to explain all of this.
Yeah, we'll tell you about the wedding in just a minute, but the debate on Kavanaugh goes right down to the wire. Even he got involved today, writing an article for a local newspaper. The first vote on Judge Brett Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court is scheduled for 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific time. But with just hours to go, the debate is as heated as ever across the country, even including a retired Supreme Court justice. With the first vote on Judge Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination expected in hours early Friday morning, the bitter battle over that confirmation is still in full swing tonight. Triggering it was retired Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, a Republican, by the way, who told an interview in Boca Raton, Florida, that he no longer believes Kavanaugh should be confirmed to join the court.
His performance during the hearings caused me to change my mind.
That may have spurred an 11th-hour op-ed piece written by Judge Kavanaugh, who said his strong emotions and sometimes bitter responses were the product of overwhelming frustration.
And little Liza, all of 10 years old.
Tonight, he wrote, "I was very emotional last Thursday, more so than I have ever been. I might have been too emotional at times. I know that my tone was sharp, and I said a few things I should not have said." Kavanaugh's defense, however, was challenged by 3 former classmates at Yale and drinking buddies, who wrote a piece in the Washington Post tonight. Each of us on numerous occasions had seen Brett stumbling drunk to the point that it would be impossible for him to state with any degree of certainty that he remembered everything that he did when drunk. We believe that Brett Kavanaugh should not sit on the nation's highest court. As demonstrators filled every floor of a Senate office building and marched to the Supreme Court, senators filed in and out of this secure room in the Capitol, the only place they could view the 46-page FBI report.
There's no corroboration of Dr. Ford's allegations.
The most notable part of this report is what's not in it.
Now about that wedding, Montana Republican Senator Steve Daines says he'll be out of town on Saturday when the final Kavanaugh vote is scheduled because his daughter is getting married. That means GOP leaders may be forced to either delay the vote until he returns, maybe on Sunday, or take the vote Saturday but keep it open overnight. And you know, Jeff, what that means is, in the meantime, while they're waiting, any senator can change their vote as long as it's still open.
Fitting into all these twists and turns.
Unbelievable.
Dave. Yeah, thank you. Well, dozens of people rallied against Kavanaugh on Hollywood Boulevard in Highland tonight.
Several speakers shared their stories of sexual assault survival, and the group called on the Senate to vote against Kavanaugh.
He certainly looks unfit. I don't believe that he's going to be a fair and impartial judge on the bench.
We have a group of senators that are pushing a political agenda. This is not a political issue. It never was a political issue.
Earlier in the day, comedian Amy Schumer was arrested at an anti-Kavanaugh rally in D.C.
And CBS 2 will bring you all the updates tomorrow as soon as new information comes in on the confirmation battle and vote.
A Lyft driver has been arrested. He's accused of kidnapping and raping a woman who was leaving a Van Nuys bar. Tonight, police are looking for more possible victims. And CBS 2's Candace Crone is live in Van Nuys with details. Candace.
And Pat, the woman was just hanging out at a local bar, enjoying herself. Well, she tried to get home safely, but instead police say she found herself in a very dangerous situation.
It's really messed up, and I just wish it didn't happen. But
Brenda Monroy says she's never felt uneasy about riding in an Uber or Lyft until now. Van Nuys police say Tuesday night a woman called a Lyft to pick her up from a local pub. Investigators say the driver was 37-year-old Octavio Gomez. When the man pulled into the victim's neighborhood, police say Gomez sexually assaulted her before she got out of his car.
kind of sucks that men don't have to take those precautions as we do, but just got to be extra careful.
Usually don't let my daughter taking Uber or Lyft, because I always thinking like it's very, very dangerous.
Police eventually tracked Gomez down and arrested him while he was driving for Lyft. He also works for Uber, and investigators worry there could be more victims out there. Riders we spoke with say it's up to both the rideshare companies and customers to make sure another trip doesn't take a dark turn.
When I go out with my friends, we have this thing where we text each other when we make it home. So I think that can kind of be something people can do.
It also requires the businesses to really profile the people they're going to hire.
Now, we did reach out to Lyft in a statement. A spokesperson said, quote, "The allegations described are truly horrific, and we have reached out to the passenger to extend our full support. From day one, the safety of our community has been our #1 priority. As soon as we received this information, we deactivated the driver, and we stand ready to assist law enforcement with their investigation." And we are still waiting to hear back from Uber. As for Gomez, he's being held in jail tonight on more than $2 million bail. In Van Nuys, Candace Crone, CBS 2 News.
A Ray Donovan actor is suspected in a drunk driving crash, and a witness says he had his 2-year-old son in his lap.
It happened last night in Burbank. Marion Hall was arrested and also charged with child endangerment. No one was injured.
Well, parents of students at a San Bernardino elementary school tonight are concerned after a hate letter was sent to their principal. Now the school district is trying to figure out who's behind that letter. A CBS 2 Inland Empire reporter Nicole Comstock is live in Highland. And Nicole, this is not the first time this principal has been targeted?
That's right, and the school district says whoever's been writing these letters has access to the inside of one of the staff rooms here, and that's exactly why parents are concerned about their kids.
She was nice.
Third grader Adaya thought her principal, Crescia Sims, was doing one heck of a job.
She took care of problems.
But she won't get to see her on campus anymore.
Sad.
Because Sims decided to leave Lancashire Elementary this week. Tuesday, someone left a racially charged letter about her in a staff mailbox on campus.
Whoever wrote this is a coward.
At a meeting Thursday night, the San Bernardino City Unified School District said they believe the author was an employee with access to that area. It's the third hate-filled message she's received in her 3 years here.
A few days of her being here, she received a threat in racial nature.
The first racist letter Sims received in 2015 after holding a staff meeting said thanks for the collaboration, N-word.
If you want to be evil, there's a lot of other places you can go to be evil and be comfortable, but our schools is not that place.
School board member Danny Tillman told parents if they didn't feel their students were safe here anymore, they understood and would facilitate a transfer to another campus.
I honestly don't know if I want to keep her here.
Crystal De La Cruz, one of many parents concerned that a staff member could be passing that racism right along to the students.
You know, this person could be smiling in my face, you know, talking to her.
And it's scary to know that someone in the school or could be teaching my kids.
The school district says it's working hard to identify, prosecute, and fire the person behind these letters. In Highland, Nicole Comstock, CBS 2 News.
Well, Elon Musk is attacking the SEC on social media.
Yeah, back in August, the Tesla chairman tweeted that he considered taking the company private at $420 a share. That caused so much anxiety in the market. SEC then sued and forced him to give up his chairmanship.
He fired back by posting, quote, "Just want to say that the short seller Enrichment Corporation is doing incredible work, and the name change is so on point."
Runaway defendant, a guy takes off after his sentencing, but then his girlfriend helped police take him down.
That story is still ahead. Plus this.
And we're going to win the World Series.
Yes, we are. Jim Hill will break down tonight's big win for Dodgers fans.
You got dimples? I do have dimples too. Because at first I thought you were cute.
And you got to see this. A grandmother starts flirting with the officer who's trying to arrest her. Did it work?
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Camp. What a day today. Beautiful out there. How's the weekend shaping up? Your forecast is on the way.
And here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.